All right, something I really wanted to make sure that we reacted to was the Adam 22 and Sneeko interview or podcast. Now, this apparently dropped like 2 weeks ago, but I guess no one really noticed in the rap space, at least. Maybe I saw it on YouTube. Just I don't know. I feel like the whole red pill thing, I've heard all the arguments, but in this one, they discussed how allegedly, or apparently, I guess, Playboi Carti's music is worse for children's brains than King Von's. And as we all know, King Von was like, he had hella bodies in Chicago, allegedly, and he rapped about it, obviously, and like that was the whole point. Like, especially with drill or whatever type of music that you call that, very street. And I don't know, I just feel like there's not much to his music other than just talking about violence and all the bodies he got. I'm not saying that he's bad at all, but like a lot of the content or the lyrics are about that. So I don't know how Playboi Carti's music would be worse than that. And if Adam 22 really has any place to talk about like manipulating or influencing children's minds. But again, we shall see. Where's the Carti part?
I mean, right I realized that listening to Playboi Carti. I like this music too. It sounds good, but I listened to a whole lot of Red, and that's like a demonic album, like rapping about murder all the time. I was
demonic. Well, the thing is, he did get Satan tattooed on his neck, so I will give him that. Okay, that's pretty fair evidence. And then also, he was a vampire, and I believe vampires are some sort of eternal negative, or like, you know, it has a negative connotation, more demonic, it eats people, like it's a scary monster thing, right? So I could see that as well.
Listening to it, and then afterwards you're just in a weird headspace. Next time you listen to like violent murder music, just like analyze where your head is at afterwards. Is it like in a like, you know what, I'm gonna go feed some kids, I'm gonna go save a church?
I just don't know if Carti's really the best example of that. Like, yes, every rapper talks about like taking bodies and everything that we were discussing with King Von. However, I feel like Carti's one of the ones that you take less seriously. I'm not saying that he's not real and he doesn't have any gang affiliations, because obviously he does with the whole Stop Breathing song that we'll discuss later, I guess. But like, there are certain rappers, you know what I'm saying, like in the internet space thing, where like when they say I'm pulling up on blah blah blah, you're like, okay, he's just saying this as a metaphor. He's not actually doing it. Whereas when somebody else like NBA or Glock 40 Spaz, let's say, he's currently in jail, he says something, you're like, oh fuck, he probably did that.
Carti stuff seems worse to me than King Von, because it's like, it's just theatrical. It's just murder lyrics for the sake of sounding cool.
Yep.
Which is like almost worse to me than King Von rapping about some murder that he actually did. I don't know if I could say worse, but it's definitely different.
Which is lame in a way.
I was about to say, worse? Like, is it worse to actually kill someone, or is it worse to just say it because it's cool? You know, like, I mean, if you look at our biological roots, and all these red pill people are going to start, like, their minds are going to be blown. The highest testosterone individuals or males in different species, they would literally like kill all the other males in their group, or they would make them subordinates so that they could be the only one that mates with all the other females, or they have to like kick them out of the tribe. So violence, if we're really getting down to this biological red pill level, is kind of human nature. I mean, why do you think we're always in wars and there's always violence, and why we always want to watch violence? It's because it's just natural to us. So I don't think they ever really notice that. I don't know why. They're like trying to act like they're better than everyone. And don't get me wrong, like I am somewhat red pilled, but I'm more from like a biological standpoint, and so I understand why we like violence from just a internal level. But now, speaking about Playboi Carti, he said Adam 22, that it might be worse because he's lying about it. But it's almost like what I was thinking about in the gym when I first heard this clip was, if you take a nonfiction book of like a serial killer and then you watch a movie about a serial killer that's fiction, it's like a novel. If we're talking about what's worse for kids' minds, I actually don't know what's worse, but like, if there's actually someone who's that sick-minded that's actually killing people, I don't know, man. To put your kids in front of that is kind of, that might be worse, because it gives you the whole guidebook and blueprint. Whereas Carti, if we're talking about this fiction novel, like, he's kind of just being like, oh yeah, I killed him. Not, he doesn't even say it in like that, but it's very vague. It's not that violent. It's really, again, just swag rap. Even though, as we've discussed with Stop Breathing, him and Homicide Gang, or what is it, like the Pyrus, there was some situation with Ola Runt. I'm not sure which gang it was, but they shanked him, or they was gonna shank him. One of Carti's people got taken out. Like, there is actually violence going on. So I don't know if Carti's really necessarily lying completely. But anyway, let's see what they say.
You can only be cool by using murder, then that's lame. But if you can be cool, the highest level of art would be inspiration, would be trying to uplift. If you can be cool spreading a positive message, that's way better than anything that they promote, these other rappers.
But do you feel like, even as a commentator or a public intellectual,
am I? I'm just a streamer.
I was just chuckling as I said it. Yeah, a streamer, whatever you want to call it. Do you feel like you end up kind of falling victim to some of the same stuff?
100%.
Because you roasting this trans person, I mean, it's not terribly kind.
I definitely feel like, listening to rap though, I will give it to them that no matter what music you listen to, influences how you think. And with rap, talking about violence, or like always talking about bitches and hoes and like disrespecting women, I have caught myself disrespecting women a little bit more than if I probably had not been listening. If I've been listening to classical, I'd probably be asking girls to like, would you court with me? Would you want to go down to the water and like hold hands? And I would, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, respect them completely, put them on a pedestal. Now, I'm not saying that I regret anything necessarily, but it definitely forms your mind state by what you listen to. It's kind of like the principle of, you are the sum of 5 or 3 people that you surround yourself with. But like, same thing with music and like the podcasts you listen to, the content that you watch, etc., the things you read. So I will give it to him, like Sneeko and Adam, or just Sneeko in general, that rap music is pretty degenerate. Let's be honest, okay? You know, it does talk about a lot of things that, again, are pretty natural with the human species. Is that necessarily bad though? No, I think that's the reason why that it's so popular, because it gets down to the roots of our human nature, whereas all of these other genres, like, it's talking about I don't know, deeper emotions, less like deep rooted though. Like, it's more complicated scenarios, whereas rap is talking about like fucking bitches, I get money, I'm powerful, that kind of thing. Although, of course, there's a spectrum to it. There's like Kendrick Lamar and Drake and J. Cole, who are talking about more complex theories, and we love those rappers too. But I'm just saying, I think the reason that hip hop's so popular is because it relates to every individual. Like, you know, we're all sexual in nature. We're all somewhat violent in nature. At least our ancestors were. And I don't necessarily think, like, that's why we like watching UFC. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to, as a man, to seek some sort of violence in a way, or not seek, but, you know, be prepared at least. Like, I think a lot of men in this earth now are pussies, and I think that comes down to like not like a million years ago, men didn't always, like 20% of the men reproduced. 80% of the men were basically virgins. They didn't get to do anything, because if you think about women, they all want the dudes who smack the most cheeks, right? So now that everybody's like linking up 1v1, male to female, and that's been going on since religion started, you know, our population is getting more pussy, whereas like before, it was really just the alpha males of the tribes that were impregnating all of the hoes. And you know damn well he wasn't about to smack any of the let's say the disgusting women's cheeks, right? So it's kind of like natural selection, right? But anyway, as I was saying, Adam's saying King Von, his music is not as bad as Playboi Carti's because his is more fiction. I don't know, man. I don't think he should be necessarily talking about influencing children's minds, because he and his girl are corn stars. And so what do you think that's gonna do to the kids? Because so many kids on this planet are addicted to corn. They're just gnawing that shit up. They're buttering it up. They're buttering up their cob. And that probably ruins their libido, their confidence. Like they probably become autistic from social anxiety and just not wanting to talk to girls because they already get themselves off before. So I just don't know if this is the type of topic he should be talking about, or maybe he should, because that's like, it's a contradiction and that always makes things more interesting. But yeah, man, hip hop is degenerate, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's natural too. So that's my take on that.